So for more on this, I want to bring in Michael Bociurkiw, who's a global affairs analyst, founder of the World Briefing Report on Substack, and senior fellow at the Atlantic Council. He joins us from Phuket, Thailand. Good to see you again. So you're in Thailand right now, but I mean, you've been reporting from Ukraine throughout this war. You've lived through those blackouts and Russian missiles knocking out power, and now allegations that officials were taking kickbacks on contracts meant to protect that same power infrastructure. I mean, how damaging is this for President Zelensky politically?
Good to be with you again, Kip. Very, very damaging. The rot goes very, very deeply. And, you know, imagine if you're one of my neighbors in Odesa or someone in Kyiv or whatever. In Odesa the other day, and it continues into this week, they're getting more hours of the day without power than with, up to 13 and a half hours without power. And although most people, of course, attribute this to those really, really fierce Russian strikes, including ones overnight, as you referred to earlier, now they're beginning to ask, I mean, could our power stations have been protected better if people weren't putting their hands into the honeypot? $100 million siphoned away. This was siphoned away from funds that were supposed to go to protect the infrastructure of power plants, especially nuclear power plants. So a lot of disappointment right across Ukraine. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I imagine. Now, this investigation, Operation Midas, is being run by the very anti-corruption agencies that Zelensky tried to weaken just months ago before the street protest sort of forced him to reverse tack there. I mean, there's a bit of irony that these agencies are now going after, as you say, people in his own circle. It is very close to the president.
Indeed, I would use the word Zelensky tried to decapitate them, and they used the excuse that they're infiltrated by Russians. No one really believed that, but luckily, and this was due to people power, to protests, he backed off. And yes, that is part of the good news story, is that these anti-corruption structures are independent, they're functioning well, and we have to also give credit to Ukraine's amazing journalists and media outlets, especially Ukrainska Pravda, who many, many months ago put out some some stories that pointed to shady business dealings involving the chief suspect, Mr. Mindich. But yeah, Mindich is a very close associate of Zelensky. And you know, the other question people are wondering, because I monitor the Ukrainian Telegram channels, is how on earth did he leave the country during martial law? It does look like more and more he was tipped off and he made his mistakes. So that adds to the anger of ordinary people.
So in terms of what comes next then, if corruption allegations start hitting the military side of things, I mean, does that become an existential threat to Western support? Because obviously we've seen, I mean, there's been an erosion of support here in U.S. Congress and, you know, clear reluctance in the White House.
It sure does. And, you know, wherever I travel in the world, Kim, even here in Thailand, people are asking about the corruption in Ukraine. So, of course, at the moment, the worst thing that could happen is that Western donors back off supporting Ukraine because it needs it very badly, that aid. But the other thing that should worry Zelensky and his circle is the Ukrainian diaspora, which is absolutely huge, and kind of unofficial ambassadors around the world of the presidency. I think, of course, it's too early for Zelensky to call elections to test his support among the population. But what he could do, and I put this in the New York Times op-ed earlier this year, is do some kind of smaller elections in outer parts of the country where the war isn't as present. And one more thing, Kim, you know, looking down the road, this could open the door to more defections or firings from the office, even the chief of staff, Mr. Yermak. And it could open the door, too, to newcomers to the political system. For example, General Zaluzhny, who is to be the head of the army and the head of intelligence, Budanov, and maybe even a comeback for Mr. Poroshenko, the former president.
No. So disappointing for so many Ukrainians and the people who've been supporting them through this long war. Michael Bociurkiw, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
The Israeli government